The UES Persistence drifted through the dark space near the edge of the solar system. Commander Ji-Wan stood on the bridge watching the stars. She had been waiting for this moment her entire life. Today humans would meet aliens for the first time. 3 months ago, Earth received a message from something called the Galactic Council. The aliens said they wanted to meet humanity and discuss joining their group of planets. Ji-Wan commanded the human ship sent to make contact. Admiral Taeho walked up beside her. He was an older man with gray hair and serious eyes. "The alien ship is approaching," he said. "Are you ready for this?" Ji-Wan nodded. "As ready as anyone can be. Chief Engineer Yunseo has everything prepared for the meeting." The alien vessel appeared on their screens. It was huge and covered in strange lights. The human ship looked tiny next to it. Ji-Wan felt nervous but tried not to show it. "Incoming transmission," said Communications Officer Dalsu. The main screen lit up showing an alien face. It had purple skin and tentacles. Instead of hair, multiple eyes blinked as it spoke. "Greetings, primitive species. I am High Arbiter Velthak of the Quillian Empire. We represent the Galactic Council. You may board our vessel for evaluation." Ji-Wan stepped forward. "Thank you for meeting with us. I am Commander Ji-Wan of Earth. We are honored by this opportunity." Q. Alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Yes, we shall see if you are worthy of joining civilized space." 2 hours later, Ji-Wan found herself in a massive alien conference room. The ceiling stretched high above her head. Strange creatures from different worlds sat around a circular table. Some had scales. Others had fur. A few looked almost human, but with different colored skin. Admiral Taeho sat on her left side. Chief Engineer Yunseo sat on her right. The 3 humans looked very small in the giant room. High Arbiter Velthak floated above the table on some kind of energy platform. His tentacles moved as he spoke. "We have reviewed your species file," Velthak said. "Humans are very young. You have only recently learned to leave your home planet. Most council races achieved space travel millions of years ago." "We learn quickly," Ji-Wan replied. "Give us a chance, and we will prove ourselves." Another alien spoke up. This one looked like a giant insect with crystal wings. "What weapons do you possess? All council members must be able to defend themselves and contribute to galactic security." Yunseo activated a small holographic projector. Images of human weapons appeared above the table. "These are our energy weapons," she explained. "Laser, rifles and plasma cannons. We also have missile systems and nuclear warheads." The aliens looked interested. Some took notes on strange devices. "Show us your most advanced systems," demanded a red-skinned creature with 4 arms. Yunseo switched to the next set of images. "These are our kinetic weapons, railguns that fire metal projectiles using magnetic fields, Gauss rifles for infantry, mass drivers for ship-to-ship combat." The room fell silent. Then several aliens began making strange noises. Ji-Wan realized they were laughing. High Arbiter Veltak's eyes twinkled with amusement. "Did you say kinetic weapons? You mean you throw objects at your enemies?" "Well, yes," Yunseo said slowly. "We accelerate dense projectiles to very high speeds using electromagnetic force." This triggered even more alien laughter. The insect creature's wings buzzed rapidly. "How wonderfully primitive! They shoot metal pieces like ancient savages with rocks and sticks." Admiral Taeho's face turned red, but he stayed quiet. Ji-Wan felt embarrassed but tried to remain calm. Velthak waved his tentacles for silence. "Forgive our reaction. It has been eons since any species relied on such basic physics. In galactic warfare, we use energy shields, plasma disruptors, and quantum weapons. Physical projectiles are useless against modern defenses." A blue alien with a long neck leaned forward. "Energy barriers can stop any solid object. Even if you make your rocks move very fast, they cannot penetrate our shields." "I see," Ji-Wan said carefully. "Perhaps you could show us these advanced systems?" "Of course." Velthak seemed delighted. "Observe." The alien pressed something on his platform. A shimmering field of light appeared around him. Another alien fired. A beam weapon at the shield. The energy deflected harmlessly away. Impressive, Admiral Tejo admitted. Now watch, said the red alien. He picked up a small metal ball and threw it at Velthak's shield. The ball bounced off without causing any damage. You see? Velthak laughed. Kinetic attacks are completely worthless. Any child could defend against thrown objects. Yunseo kept her expression neutral. What about very fast projectiles? Ones moving at significant fractions of light speed. Speed makes no difference, scoffed the insect alien. Energy shields deflect all matter regardless of velocity. This is basic science known throughout the galaxy. Jiwan filed this information away in her memory. The aliens seemed very confident about their defenses. We appreciate the demonstration, she said politely. What would humanity need to do to join the council? Velthak consulted a glowing tablet. Given your primitive technology level, we can offer junior membership status. You would be assigned to mining operations in the Outer Rim territories. Simple work, suitable for your capabilities. Mining operations? Admiral Tejo asked. Yes. Extracting minerals from dead worlds. Very safe and straightforward. Perfect for a species still learning to use advanced tools. The condescending tone in Veltak's voice was obvious. Jiwan wanted to respond angrily, but forced herself to stay diplomatic. We would be honored to contribute in whatever way the council sees fit, she said. Excellent. Velthak clapped his tentacles together. Your mining assignments will begin immediately. We expect full compliance with all regulations. Any deviation from council orders will result in immediate expulsion from civilized space. The meeting continued for another hour. The aliens explained various rules and restrictions for junior members. Humans would not be allowed weapons beyond basic defensive systems. All military technology must be approved by the council. Human ships could only travel to designated areas. Jiwan listened carefully and agreed to everything. But inside she was planning. The aliens had made one thing very clear. They thought humans were weak and stupid. They believed kinetic weapons were useless toys. When the meeting ended, the three humans returned to their ship. Once they were safely aboard, Admiral Tejo exploded. Did you hear how they talked to us? Like we were children. And that nonsense about kinetic weapons being primitive. Yunseo shook her head. They have no idea what they're dealing with. Their energy shields might stop slow-moving objects, but I doubt they've ever faced a tungsten rod moving at 12% of light speed. Jiwan smiled grimly. Let them think we're harmless. When we get back to Earth, I want you to send a message to General Dong Hyun. Tell him to begin Project Momentum immediately. What's Project Momentum? Asked Admiral Tejo. Something the Council is going to regret underestimating, Jiwan replied as she watched the alien ship disappear into hyperspace. 3 months passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Council. Captain Hyunwoo commanded the mining vessel UES Endeavor as it approached a dead planet called Kepler 442c. The world had no atmosphere and no life. Perfect for strip mining. Operations according to the aliens. Security Chief So Young stood beside him on the bridge. She was a former Marine with short black hair and sharp eyes. I don't like this assignment, she said. We're completely exposed out here. Hyunwoo nodded. The Council put us in the most dangerous part of space on purpose. They want to see if we break under pressure. The mining operation had been brutal work. Human crews used massive excavators to dig rare metals from the planet's surface. The aliens provided no help and very little protection. When human workers got injured, Council medical ships arrived days late with excuses about being busy elsewhere. Engineer Yunseo had been working overtime to modify their equipment. Officially, she was improving mining efficiency. Secretly, she was turning industrial launchers into weapons. The magnetic accelerators used to launch ore containers could easily fire other payloads at high speed. Captain, called Communications Officer Dalsu, we have multiple contacts approaching fast. They're not broadcasting Council identification codes. Hyunwoo felt his stomach drop. Pirates. How many? 8 ships. Nexari cartel markings. They'll be in weapons range in 10 minutes. So Young activated the emergency alarm. All miners to the shelters immediately. Security teams to battle stations. The pirate ships were sleek and fast. They fired energy weapons at the human mining platforms. Plasma beams melted through metal structures like they were made of paper. 17 miners died in the first attack. "Where are our council protectors?" Hyunwoo demanded. "Still 2 hours away," Dalsu replied. "They say they're having technical difficulties." So Young grabbed her rifle. "Technical difficulties, right. They want the pirates to soften us up." The battle lasted 6 hours. Human security teams fought bravely, but their basic weapons could barely scratch the pirate energy shields. The Nexari took everything valuable and left the humans stranded with damaged equipment. When council ships finally arrived, High Arbiter Velthak expressed polite regret over the incident. He suggested humans should invest in proper energy shielding, instead of relying on primitive kinetic barriers. 2 weeks later, Ambassador Minsu stood before the full Galactic Council on the capital world of Quill Prime. The council chamber was enormous, with representatives from hundreds of alien species. "We demand better protection for our people," Minsu said firmly. 17 humans died because council forces failed to respond to our distress call. Veltak floated on his energy platform, looking bored. "Pirate attacks are common in the Outer Rim. Perhaps humans are not ready for such dangerous assignments. We completed our mining quota despite the attack," Minsu replied. "Human determination should not be underestimated." The insect alien from before buzzed its wings dismissively. "Determination cannot stop plasma cannons. You need modern defensive technology." "Then provide it," Minsu challenged. "Junior members must earn advanced equipment," said the red alien, with 4 arms. "Continue your mining operations, prove your worth over time." Minsu wanted to argue more but knew it was useless. The council had already decided. Humans were expendable workers sent to do dangerous jobs the aliens didn't want. Back on the mining ships, Yoon Seo continued her secret work. Every human vessel now carried hidden mass drivers and experimental kinetic systems. She had converted the ore launchers into devastating weapons capable of firing tungsten projectiles at incredible speeds. On Earth, weapons designer Jae Young worked in a classified facility deep underground. She was building something the aliens had never seen before. The Kinetic bombardment platform could drop tungsten rods from orbit at 20% of light speed. Each rod carried the destructive power of a nuclear weapon, but left no radiation. General Dong-hyun visited the facility regularly. "How long until the orbital platforms are ready?" he asked. 2 more months, Jae Young replied. "The magnetic accelerators need more testing. We only get one chance to surprise them." "The miners are getting restless," Dong-hyun said. "More pirate attacks every week. The council keeps making excuses." "Let them keep underestimating us," Jae Young smiled coldly. "When we're ready, they'll learn what human kinetic weapons can really do." Meanwhile, Captain Hyunwoo received another impossible mining quota from the council. The aliens wanted twice as much ore extracted in half the time. When he protested that it was dangerous, they threatened to expel humanity from the council entirely. So Young gathered her security teams for a private meeting. "The aliens are setting us up to fail," she told them. "Every assignment gets more dangerous. Every quota gets higher. They want us to break." "What do we do?" asked Sergeant Boram. "We prepare for war," So Young replied. "Check your kinetic weapons. Practice your targeting. When the time comes, we're going to show these aliens what humans are really capable of." The breaking point was coming soon. Everyone could feel it. The aliens pushed harder while humans prepared in secret. Project Momentum was nearly complete. Earth's hidden fleet was almost ready to launch. In the Outer Rim mining colonies, human workers continued their dangerous jobs. They extracted precious metals under impossible conditions while pirates raided them regularly. Council protection never came on time, but the humans were learning too. They studied alien technology and tactics. They mapped enemy positions and identified weaknesses. Most importantly, they perfected their kinetic weapons in secret. The galaxy was about to discover that throwing rocks could be devastating when done by humans who understood physics better than anyone else. Part 3. The provocation, Governor Seo Jun stood in his office looking out at New Busan Colony. The human settlement stretched across a green valley with farms and factories scattered between residential areas. 50,000 people called this world home. The message from the Quillian Empire had arrived that morning. All humans must evacuate within 48 hours to make room for a new alien settlement. No compensation would be provided. No alternative housing was offered. "They can't be serious," said Deputy Governor Haewon. "We've been here for 3 years. We built everything from nothing." Seo Jun crushed the message tablet in his fist. "They're completely serious. The council wants us gone and they don't care how." Captain Hyunwoo's mining fleet was in orbit around the planet. His ships were officially there to collect processed metals from the colony's refineries. Secretly, they were armed with Yun Seo's modified kinetic weapons. "Sir," called Communications Officer Dal-Su, "we're receiving a transmission from Admiral Zorvex of the Quillian Imperial Navy. He's demanding to speak with you immediately." The main screen activated, showing an alien with silver skin and glowing red eyes. Multiple arms gestured angrily as he spoke. "Human Governor, I am Admiral Zorvex. You will order immediate evacuation of this world. Any delay will be considered an act of rebellion against the Galactic Council." Seo Jun straightened his shoulders. "Admiral, this is our legal colony established under council regulations. We refuse your illegal eviction order." Zorvex's eyes flared brighter. "Illegal? Humans have no rights here. You exist only because the council allows it." "We have settlement rights granted by your own bureaucracy," Seo Jun replied calmly. "Check your records." "Records can be changed," Zorvex sneered. "You have 24 hours. Evacuate or face the consequences." The transmission ended abruptly. Seo Jun immediately contacted Captain Hyunwoo. "Captain, I need you to send a message to Earth immediately. Tell them the aliens are forcing us out of New Busan." "Already done, Governor," Hyunwoo replied. "Admiral Tae-ho is mobilizing the fleet as we speak." 6 hours later, Quillian warships appeared in the system. 12 massive vessels armed with plasma cannons and quantum disruptors. They took positions around New Busan and began broadcasting surrender demands. "Attention, human colonists," came Admiral Zorvex's voice. "You have 6 hours to board evacuation transports. Any resistance will be met with orbital bombardment." "Governor," Seo Jun activated the colony's emergency protocols. All civilians moved to underground shelters designed to withstand energy weapon attacks. The shelters had been built in secret with advice from Earth's military engineers. Captain Hyunwoo moved his mining ships to defensive positions. Officially, they were just cargo vessels with basic shields. In reality, each ship carried enough kinetic firepower to destroy a small moon. "Sir," reported Security Chief So Young from the planet's surface, "Quillian ground forces are landing near the capital. They're setting up energy barriers around our main facilities." "How many?" asked Seo Jun. "Maybe 2,000 troops with full combat armor and plasma weapons." They looked confident. On Earth, President Hee-jin received the emergency transmission from New Busan. She immediately authorized General Dong-hyun to activate Operation Momentum. For the first time in human history, Earth was going to war against an alien civilization. "Are we ready?" she asked the general. "As ready as we'll ever be," Dong-hyun replied. "Admiral Tae-ho is commanding our hidden fleet. Chief Weapons Officer Bo-ram has loaded our most powerful kinetic weapons. The aliens have no idea what's coming." The human fleet consisted of converted mining ships, modified cargo haulers, and several purpose-built kinetic warfare vessels. Every ship car. Governor Seo Jun stood in his office looking out at New Busan Colony. The human settlement stretched across a green valley with farms and factories scattered between residential areas. 50,000 people called this world home. The message from the Quillian Empire had arrived that morning. All humans must evacuate within 48 hours to make room for a new alien settlement. No compensation would be provided. No alternative housing was offered. "They can't be serious," said Deputy Governor Haewon. "We've been here for 3 years. We built everything from nothing. Seo-jun crushed the message tablet in his fist. They're completely serious. The council wants us gone, and they don't care how. Captain Hyunwoo's mining fleet was in orbit around the planet. His ships were officially there to collect processed metals from the colony's refineries. Secretly, they were armed with Yun Seo's modified kinetic weapons. "Sir," called Communications Officer Dal-Su, "we're receiving a transmission from Admiral Zorvex of the Quillian Imperial Navy. He's demanding to speak with you immediately." The main screen activated, showing an alien with silver skin and glowing red eyes. Multiple arms gestured angrily as he spoke. "Human Governor, I am Admiral Zorvex. You will order immediate evacuation of this world. Any delay will be considered an act of rebellion against the Galactic Council." As Seo-jun straightened his shoulders. "Admiral, this is our legal colony established under Council regulations. We refuse your illegal eviction order." Zorvex's eyes flared brighter. "Illegal? Humans have no rights here. You exist only because the HFY Council allows it. We have settlement rights granted by your own bureaucracy," Seo-jun replied calmly. "Check your records." "Records can be changed," Zorvex sneered. "You have 24 hours. Evacuate or face the consequences." The transmission ended abruptly. Seo-jun immediately contacted Captain Hyunwoo. "Captain, I need you to send a message to Earth immediately. Tell them the aliens are forcing us out of New Busan." "Already done, Governor," Hyunwoo replied. "Admiral Taeho is mobilizing the fleet as we speak." 6 hours later, Quillian warships appeared in the system. 12 massive vessels armed with plasma cannons and quantum disruptors. They took positions around New Busan and began broadcasting. "Surrender demands." "Attention, human colonists," came Admiral Zorvex's voice. "You have 6 hours to board evacuation transports. Any resistance will be met with orbital bombardment." Governor Seo-jun activated the colony's emergency protocols. All civilians moved to underground shelters designed to withstand energy weapon attacks. The shelters had been built in secret with advice from Earth's military engineers. Captain Hyunwoo moved his mining ships to defensive positions. Officially, they were just cargo vessels with basic shields. In reality, each ship carried enough kinetic firepower to destroy a small moon. "Sir," reported Security Chief So Young from the planet's surface, "Quillian ground forces are landing near the capital. They're setting up energy barriers around our main facilities." "How many?" asked Seo-jun. "Maybe 2,000 troops with full combat armor and plasma weapons. They look confident." On Earth, President Hyejin received the emergency transmission from New Busan. She immediately authorized General Dong-hyun to activate Operation Momentum. For the first time in human history, Earth was going to war against an alien civilization. "Are we ready?" she asked the general. "As ready as we'll ever be," Dong-hyun replied. "Admiral Taeho is commanding our hidden fleet. Chief Weapons Officer Bo-ram has loaded our most powerful kinetic weapons. The aliens have no idea what's coming." The human fleet consisted of converted mining ships, modified cargo haulers, and several purpose-built kinetic warfare vessels. Every ship carried magnetic accelerators capable of firing tungsten projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. Admiral Taeho stood on the bridge of the flagship UES Retribution. The ship looked like a simple cargo hauler from the outside. Inside, it carried humanity's most devastating weapon, relativistic kill vehicles designed to penetrate any known defense. "Admiral," called the navigation officer, "we'll reach New Busan in 18 hours. "Too long," Taeho muttered. "The colonists need help now." Back at New Busan, the situation was getting worse. Admiral Zorvex had begun limited orbital bombardment of military targets. Plasma beams from space destroyed the colony's communication arrays and power stations. "They're trying to force us to surrender," So Young reported. "No civilian casualties yet, but they're making their point." Governor Seo-jun watched explosions light up the night sky. "How long until our fleet arrives?" 12 hours, replied Captain Hyunwoo. "Can we hold out that long?" "We have to," Seo-jun said grimly. "If we surrender now, every human colony in the galaxy becomes a target." Admiral Zorvex sent another transmission demanding immediate surrender. When the humans refused, he ordered his ships to target civilian areas. The aliens had decided to end this rebellion with overwhelming force. The Quillians had no idea they were about to face an enemy unlike anything in galactic history, an enemy that had perfected the ancient art of throwing rocks at impossible speeds. Admiral Tejo watched the tactical display as his fleet dropped out of hyperspace near New Busan. 12 Quillian warships surrounded the human colony like predators circling wounded prey. Explosions lit up the planet's surface as alien plasma cannons bombarded civilian targets. "Admiral," called Weapons Officer Boram. "Enemy fleet is in optimal firing position. All kinetic systems are loaded and ready." Tejo opened a communication channel to Admiral Zorvex. The alien appeared on screen looking surprised by the arrival of human reinforcements. "Zorvex, this is Admiral Tejo of the Earth Defense Fleet. Cease your bombardment immediately and withdraw from human space." The Quillian admiral laughed, his red eyes glowing with amusement. "Earth Defense Fleet? I see only cargo ships and mining vessels. What do you plan to do with your primitive metal tubes and chemical explosives?" "Last warning," Tejo said quietly. "Withdraw now or face the consequences." "Consequences?" Zorvex gestured at his massive warships. "Your pathetic kinetic weapons cannot penetrate our energy shields. Watch as I demonstrate the power of advanced civilization." Zorvex ordered his ships to fire on the human fleet. Brilliant plasma beams lanced through space toward the approaching cargo vessels. The aliens expected to destroy the human ships in seconds. Instead, their weapons struck empty space. The human ships had scattered using evasive maneuvers impossible for normal cargo haulers. Their engines were military-grade, hidden beneath civilian hull plating. "Now," Admiral Tejo commanded. The human fleet opened fire with their secret weapons. Not the expected missiles or energy beams, but a devastating barrage of tungsten penetrator rods launched from magnetic accelerators. The projectiles moved at 12% of light speed, faster than anything the Quillians had ever encountered. Their energy shields, designed to deflect plasma and particle beams, offered no protection against solid matter traveling at relativistic velocities. 3 Quillian destroyers simply vanished. The tungsten rods punched through their hulls like bullets through paper. Secondary explosions tore the ships apart as their power cores destabilized. "Impossible!" Zorvex screamed. "Our shields are impenetrable." "Against energy weapons," Tejo replied calmly. "You forgot about basic physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The remaining Quillian ships tried to return fire, but the human vessels moved too unpredictably. Captain Hyunwoo's converted mining ships used their industrial thrusters to perform impossible combat maneuvers. On the planet's surface, Security Chief So Young led her teams in a ground assault against the alien occupation force. The Quillians had taken defensive positions behind energy barriers that stopped all plasma and laser attacks. "Switch to kinetic weapons," So Young ordered her troops. Human soldiers opened fire with magnetically accelerated projectiles. The Gauss rifles sent tungsten bullets through alien energy shields like they weren't even there. Quillian soldiers fell as their personal defense systems failed completely. "Their armor can't stop solid projectiles," reported Sergeant Boram. The aliens never developed defenses against kinetic attacks. The Quillian ground commander tried to rally his troops, but panic was spreading. These humans fought like nothing in galactic military doctrine. Their weapons ignored every defensive technology known to civilization. In space, the battle turned into a slaughter. Admiral Zorvex ordered his remaining ships to retreat, but human kinetic artillery had superior range. Tungsten shells traveling at significant fractions of light speed could hit targets from millions of kilometers away. "Admiral," called his tactical officer, "we've lost 8 ships. Their weapons are penetrating our shields like they don't exist." "How is this possible?" Zorvex demanded. "Kinetic weapons are primitive, Stone Age technology. On the human flagship, Weapons Officer Boram was having the time of her life. "Target the command ship's engines," she ordered. "Let's see how fast they can run with disabled propulsion." Tungsten penetrators slammed into the Quillian flagship's drive section. The massive ship listed to one side as its engines died. Admiral Zorvex found himself trapped and helpless. Captain So Young's ground forces had surrounded the remaining alien troops. The Quillians tried to surrender, but their translation devices couldn't find appropriate words. No galactic language had terms for surrender to kinetic weapons because no one had ever needed them. "I don't understand," cried the Quillian ground commander. "How do your projectiles penetrate energy barriers?" "Because energy barriers don't stop physical matter," So Young explained patiently. "This is basic science. You should have learned it in school." The entire battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Quillian occupation force had surrendered completely. 9 of their 12 warships were destroyed. The survivors limped away carrying news that would shock the galaxy. Admiral Zorvex, wounded and humiliated, demanded to know humanity's secret. "There's no secret," Admiral Tejo told him. "We just remembered that the simplest solutions are often the most effective. You wanted to test our primitive throwing weapons. Now you know what they can do." Governor Seo-jun emerged from the underground shelters to survey the damage. The colony had suffered some destruction, but no civilian casualties. The human defenders had won a complete victory using weapons the aliens considered obsolete. As news of the battle spread, one thing became clear across the galaxy. Humanity had just changed the rules of warfare forever. The age of energy shields and plasma weapons was ending. The age of kinetic warfare had begun. News of humanity's victory at New Busan spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On every civilized world, military commanders watched battle recordings with growing horror. An entire Quillian fleet destroyed by primitive kinetic weapons. It seemed impossible. High Arbiter Velthak called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the Great Chamber on Quill Prime. The mood was tense as everyone tried to understand what had happened. "Show the recordings again," demanded the insect alien with crystal wings. The holographic display activated, showing human ships firing tungsten rods at Quillian vessels. The projectiles passed through energy shields without slowing down. Massive. Warships disintegrated on impact. "I don't understand," said the red alien with 4 arms. "Energy shields stop all matter. This violates the basic laws of physics." Ambassador Minsu stood to address the council. He looked calm despite being surrounded by hundreds of agitated aliens. "The laws of physics work exactly as expected," he said quietly. "Your energy shields deflect charged particles and electromagnetic radiation. They were never designed to stop solid matter traveling at relativistic speeds." Veltak's tentacles writhed with confusion. "But kinetic weapons are primitive, Stone Age technology. No civilized species uses them." "Perhaps that was a mistake," Minsu replied. "Humans have a saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Our kinetic weapons work perfectly." The council chamber erupted in angry voices. Some aliens demanded immediate action against humanity. Others called for new defensive technologies. A few suggested negotiating before the humans decided to attack someone else. On the homeworld of the Valdorian Republic, military engineers worked frantically to develop new armor systems. Their energy shields were useless against kinetic attacks. Traditional physical armor hadn't been used for thousands of years. "We need something that can stop high-velocity projectiles," explained Chief Designer Korthax. "But we've forgotten how to make such defenses." The Zephyrite Collective began emergency research into kinetic countermeasures. Their scientists struggled with concepts like momentum and kinetic energy. These topics hadn't been studied seriously for millennia. Meanwhile, the Nexhari cartel abandoned all planned attacks on human colonies. Pirate ships that relied on energy shields suddenly felt very vulnerable. Word spread through criminal organizations. Avoid humans at all costs. On Earth, weapon designer Jae Young put the finishing touches on humanity's ultimate deterrent. The relativistic bombardment array consisted of orbital platforms capable of accelerating 1,000-ton projectiles to 20% of light speed. "A single shot can crack a planet's crust," she explained to General Dong-hyun. "Continental targets can be destroyed from anywhere in the solar system." "How many platforms are operational?" the general asked. 12 so far. We're building more every week. If the aliens want a kinetic arms race, we're ready." Back at the Galactic Council, panic was spreading as species realized their entire military doctrine was obsolete. Trillions of credits had been spent on energy weapons and shields. All of it was worthless against human kinetic attacks. The blue alien with the long neck made a desperate suggestion. Perhaps we should ban kinetic weapons throughout the galaxy, declare them illegal under council law. And how would we enforce such a ban? Asked Velthek. Send our energy-based fleets against human kinetic ships? The question hung in the air unanswered. Everyone had seen what happened to Admiral Zorvex's fleet. Ambassador Min-Su watched the alien panic with satisfaction. The council could simply accept humanity as full members with equal rights. We're willing to share our defensive technologies. Share? Velthek's eyes widened. You would give us kinetic defense systems? Of course. Humans believe in galactic peace through mutual defense, but only between equals. Some aliens objected to giving humans full membership so quickly. Others pointed out they had little choice. Humanity had demonstrated the ability to defeat any known military force. On distant New Busan, Governor Seojun oversaw reconstruction efforts. The colony was becoming a symbol of human determination, a memorial to the 17 miners killed. In the original pirate attack bore a simple message. They died so others could live free. Captain Hyunwoo's mining fleet had been officially redesignated as a defense squadron. His ships patrolled human space with their hidden kinetic weapons ready. No alien vessel approached without permission. Security Chief So Young established a training academy for human forces throughout the Outer Rim. Young colonists learned to use Gauss rifles and magnetic accelerators. The curriculum included a basic physics course explaining why kinetic weapons work. Energy shields are like umbrellas, she taught her students. They keep the rain off, but they won't stop a thrown rock. The aliens forgot this simple truth as word of human capabilities spread. Other species began approaching Earth with trade offers and defense pacts. Everyone wanted to be on good terms with the kinetic weapon masters. The Galactic Council faced a choice: accept humanity as equals, or risk more devastating defeats. The age of alien supremacy was ending. A new balance of power was emerging with humans at the center. The galaxy would never be the same. Species that had ruled for millions of years suddenly found themselves vulnerable to primitive weapons they had dismissed as obsolete. The humans had taught everyone an important lesson: never underestimate the power of physics. 6 months after the Battle of New Busan, humanity held full membership in the Galactic Council with unprecedented autonomy. Captain Jiwon served as Earth's primary ambassador, while Admiral Taeho commanded the growing human kinetic fleet. The Great Council Chamber on Quill Prime had been redesigned to accommodate human representatives. Ambassador Min-Su sat at the central table alongside aliens who now treated him as an equal. The condescending attitude had vanished completely. The Council recognizes Ambassador Min-Su of Earth, announced High Arbiter Velthek. His tone was respectful now, almost nervous. Min-Su stood and activated a holographic display. Thank you, High Arbiter. Today humanity wishes to present a gift to galactic civilization. The display showed technical specifications for kinetic barrier systems. Advanced armor that could stop both energy weapons and physical projectiles. The technology represented years of human engineering work. We offer these defensive systems freely to all council members, Min-Su said. Galactic peace requires mutual protection. The aliens looked stunned. Species that had been expecting human demands for tribute or territory instead offered protection. The insect alien with crystal wings buzzed nervously. You would share this technology, even with species that opposed your membership? Especially with them, Min-Su replied. Strong defenses prevent wars. Weak defenses encourage them. The Quillian Empire had been the first to approach Earth with formal apologies and massive reparations. Admiral Zorvex personally delivered a treaty acknowledging human sovereignty over all their colonies. We regret our previous actions, Zorvex said during the signing ceremony. The Empire wishes to establish friendly relations with humanity. Admiral Taeho accepted the apology with grace. The past is behind us. Let's work together for a peaceful future. but not everyone was convinced of Quillian's sincerity. On New Busan, Governor Seojun continued expanding the colony's defenses. The world had become humanity's fortress in the Outer Rim. "Trust, but verify," he told his deputy Haiwan. "The aliens respect our strength, but they might not respect our mercy." The colony's reconstruction had proceeded faster than expected. Human engineering teams worked alongside alien specialists sharing technology and techniques. The memorial to the 17 miners had become a pilgrimage site for humans throughout the galaxy. Young counselor Haiwan, Seojun's daughter, had been elected to represent New Busan in the Galactic Council. At 25, she was the youngest ambassador in galactic history. "The galaxy is changing," she told the council during her first speech. "Old prejudices are giving way to new cooperation. Humanity offers partnership to all who seek peace." Captain Hyunwoo's former mining fleet had grown into a proper naval squadron. His ships patrolled trade routes protecting merchant vessels from pirate attacks. The Nexari cartel had learned to avoid any system with human defenders. "Pirates used to hit us every week," reported a grateful alien merchant captain. "Now they won't come near human space. Your kinetic weapons have made the trade routes safer for everyone." Security Chief So Young had established the Galactic Kinetic Warfare Academy on New Busan. Young officers from dozens of species came to learn human military tactics. "The key to kinetic warfare is understanding momentum and energy transfer," she explained to a class of alien cadets. "A projectile's effectiveness depends on mass times velocity squared. Make it heavy and fast enough and nothing can stop it." The students took careful notes, finally understanding why galactic military doctrine had failed so completely against human forces. On Earth, weapons designer Jae Young had turned her attention to peaceful applications of kinetic technology. Magnetic accelerators now launched supply pods to distant colonies. Mining operations used kinetic systems to move asteroids. "The same principles that make weapons also make tools," she told a gathering of galactic engineers. "Humans have always understood that physics serves many purposes." General Dong Hyun oversaw the expansion of Earth's orbital defense platforms. The relativistic bombardment array now included 47 installations capable of protecting the entire solar system. "We're not threatening anyone," he assured nervous alien observers. "These platforms exist purely for defensive purposes." The aliens weren't entirely convinced, but they understood the message. Earth had enough kinetic firepower to devastate entire fleets. No one wanted to test human resolve again. In the Outer Rim territories, human colonies flourished under the protection of kinetic-armed defense squadrons. Mining operations that had been barely profitable became lucrative enterprises. Pirates gave human ships a wide berth. The Galactic Council faced a new reality. Humanity had become the premier military power not through advanced technology, but by perfecting ancient principles. The galaxy's most sophisticated civilizations now looked to humans for protection. During a quiet moment in her office, Ambassador Jiwon reflected on how much had changed. Humans had gone from rejected junior members to essential partners in just 6 months. "Physics is universal," she told her aide. The aliens forgot that simple truth. They became so focused on exotic technologies that they ignored basic science. A delegation of young alien military cadets visited Earth's Kinetic Warfare Academy for advanced training. Instructor So Young explained the fundamental principle behind human military doctrine. "It doesn't matter how advanced your civilization becomes," she told them. "Newton's laws still apply. Conservation of energy and momentum are universal constants, and sometimes the oldest solutions are the most effective." The alien students listened intently, finally understanding why their ancestors' dismissal of kinetic weapons had been such a catastrophic mistake. As the lesson ended, So Young looked out at the stars visible through the Academy's great window. Somewhere out there, human ships patrolled the space lanes with their kinetic weapons ready. The galaxy had learned to respect humanity not for their advanced technology, but for their mastery of fundamental physics. In trying to dismiss human primitive weapons, the aliens discovered that sometimes throwing rocks very, very hard was the most effective solution of all. The age of human galactic citizenship had begun, built on the solid foundation of universal physical laws that no amount of exotic technology could overcome.